Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Tech with Jabs. Today, we've got a very interesting guest by the name of Thandiwe Mlauli. But first, I'll just let her tell you guys about herself. And trust me, you guys will really enjoy this show this evening. Take it away, Thandiwe.
Hi, my name is Thandiwe Mlauli, and I am the founder and CEO of Studio Yezi. And Studio Yezi is a development and animation company based here in South Africa, honey. We are homegrown, home fed. And basically, what I do on a daily basis is I am a producer mainly, and I'm producing a short film, an animated short film that is based on an animated series that we're going to be producing. And I've been doing it independently. Like it's not one of those things where I pitched early to like studios, and I'm sort of like, yes, we are courting studio attention, but um they're coming onto a moving train. Like we were gonna move whether they were here or not or not. So
Mm.
basically what I do is I organize the different production teams. And then I'm head of a creative because the solo was my story. And what I do is I've been developing my story. Now we're in visual development, and we're getting into the animation stage. We're storyboarding our animated film right now. And then we also develop other people's stories. Well, not a whole lot, but we've been acquiring some stories that we're also going to turn into animated series. So basically, what we're trying to do at Studio Yezi is to empower Black and Brown creatives in the animation industry, from the producer level to the animator level, down to even the media team, social media. Like, we're just trying to get young, fresh Black talent in the room. We're trying to hashtag open up the industry. We're creating an industry.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that's how we open up the industry. It's not to say we don't have an animation industry in South Africa, but it's not very uh we don't find a lot of Black people in it. There aren't a lot of Black kids in animation school because access, affordability, viability of the career itself. Like, no Black parent is gonna be like, yeah, I'm done, I'm humble in animation, and you don't even know what it's gonna turn into. And so for us, we're just gonna pioneer, create something new, and see where it takes us. Um, and the world has been receptive so far. Like, the little bit that we've been doing, the people that we do talk to and that we touch are very receptive, very supportive. So it just makes me feel like this is destiny, like it's time. So
Oh,
that's the work we do
no, awesome,
at
awesome,
Studio.
awesome. Awesome, awesome, Tandy. Now, Tandy, you touched on a couple of very interesting points. The whole animation. And the fact that when you think about it, we all grew up on animation. Whether
Mm.
you were watching TV from a neighbor's house or whoever had a TV, we all grew up on it. So it's
I'm a
nothing new to,
Popeye.
yeah. Our Popeye, yeah. Oh, we grew up on it, right? So it's actually funny though how it's only happening now that we're seeing
Right.
at the studio. For me, it's shocking, in fact, that it's taken us all these years to get to this point, and yet animation is what we've been watching for the longest time. So yeah, we'll touch up on that a little later. Your journey, right? Now you're the
Yeah.
CEO of Studio Yezi, right? But
Yes,
it must
sir.
have been a journey. So what I want to find out is what were some of your key moves? You know, everyone has those key moves or key decisions that they've taken in life that have gotten them to the point that they currently are at right now.
Yeah.
So, what decisions did you make to get to this point? And also, before you answer, in what guides your decision process? Because I want some of the viewers to actually learn from you as to how they can make the decisions that they need to make things happen. It's very important. Many people are talkers out
Okay.
there. They talk about, I want to do this, I want to run this, but no one actually ever implements anything. So take us through your process, Tandio. How did you become the CEO of Studio Yezi?
For sure. So okay, I think the major decisions that I can think of off the top of my head that really changed the trajectory of my life was, one, going to school.
Mm-hmm.
So I applied in secret. I applied to New York Film Academy. I didn't. My mom was like telling me, law, go do law, go do what like
That's in science.
it's
Yes.
yeah, understand the roads, ban
Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like I could feel the walls closing in on me.
Yes.
I was like, So I applied in secret. My sister, who inspired the story of Solo, who passed away unfortunately a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
she I called her. I was like, Jong, I can't. I need to apply for New York Film Academy. How am I gonna do? It was like $75 for like an application fee. She paid it.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. Nice relationship between you and your sister. Supporting.
Yeah, she okay, we'll see. I think in her mind she was like, okay, this girl's dreaming, but if it happens, okay, it happens. If it doesn't, I care. You know, it was like one of those things. So I think pushing that, and then when I got accepted, I had to break it to my mom. And like I remember getting drunk and I was crying and like
So,
just I was like it was like a whole dramatic scene of like, mommy, this is what I really want to do. Like I didn't want, I was too scared to tell you, but this it was so by accident because what had happened was we went to like an SA Fashion Week and they have free drinks there.
yeah.
So your girl was so stressed because I knew I had to have this conversation and I just kept
So,
drinking. I just kept drinking to the point where it was like, okay, let's so by the time I got into the car when she came to pick us up, I was sloshed and I was like emotional more than anything because I was so scared that's how scared I was to have this conversation. But I don't know what in her spirit took me seriously, but she really did. And then she was like, okay, are you sure this is what you want to do? And at the time I was telling her I just wanted to do the 1 year course. Ngathi, "Ngicela ukwenza nje 1 year. I'm not asking for a lot, just 1 year, please." And then once she kind of got on board, she was like, no, if you're gonna go to the States, you must just do a full degree. Angeke ngibe nomntwana ongana degree. So it was like, do the BFA, go through the process and finish. So that was like the first trajectory shift. The second one, I'll say, was like right around graduation time. I was finishing up my thesis, and our my thesis advisor, I told them, I was like, no, I really want to do animation for my thesis project. Like this was something I really want to do. Mind you, I went to school for producing, not
yeah.
animation.
Hmm.
So I know how to just put a project together in general. Doesn't matter whether it's reality TV, film. Like I just know how to get something from beginning to end. Like that's the skills that I got.
Yeah.
Um, but in my thesis, I was like, no, I want to do animation. And the thesis advisor was like, no, there's no audience for Black animation. Adults don't watch animation. And I was like, a lie, don't care who tell it, honey. What? I was like, who is at Comic Con? Because I know it's not no teenagers affording Comic Con tickets to San Diego. Like that's pure adults who love animation that dress
Yeah.
up. So it was one of those things where I was like, you guys sound crazy. Like, I'm gonna figure it out. And so they kept discouraging me. And I ended up doing my thesis as an animated project at the end of the day. And they kept discouraging it all the way until the end. But for me, I was like, no man, like I think in Vuselele, there was something I was like,
Yeah.
the way you guys are resisting it, it's almost as if you're telling me it's there.
This is
You know
it.
what I
This
mean?
is it. Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
you know? So I remember like right after I graduated, so the second one was pushing through thesis, which is one
Yes.
of the hardest things to do in when you do like a creative thesis, because it's not purely academic. So you really have to like fight for your ideas and you have to fight for what whatever creative decisions you want to make.
Without dropping
And
the ball
then
on the other. Mm.
yes, like you can't blame just because they're saying it can't happen. You
Yeah.
can't use that as an excuse not to do whatever's like in your mind because that thing eats you, eh?
Mm.
Um, and then I think the third major trajectory changing decision that I made was and this is how you know it was fate or destiny or God or all three because yeah, but it was women's what's the August 9th, it was is that Women's Day, ne? Like here in
Yeah,
SA.
I think so. Because nowadays it's weeks and months. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
and it's like the whole the
Yeah,
whole
not 12
shebang.
months and yeah.
So August 9, we were in LA, and
Yeah.
the South African consulate in LA had a get together
Mm.
for South Africans in LA. And when I got there, I ended up meeting a woman named Dawn Matthews. She used to play Shakira on Scandal back in the day. Colored lady, like very petite, like she had like I don't know, but anyway, she I told her about Sola and the story. She was like, "That's a really awesome story." Blah blah blah. And then we exchanged numbers, and she says, "No, we should meet up about this."
Yeah.
And she's an actor, right? But she was just like encouraging me, like from woman to woman. And then she sends me a flyer for Black Women Animates, which
Yes.
was the first boot camp ever in connection with Cartoon Network to do animation, like to find out who is in animation and who's Black and who's
Yes.
here in LA.
Yeah.
So attending that workshop was completely life changing because there were execs from Cartoon Network. There were like animators from Black Panther, who one of them is my friend now.
Nice.
Um, and animators who do music videos, and they were all Black people. And it was the first time we saw each other in the same room because we didn't even know that there were this many Black people who were interested in
In
the field.
animation. Yes.
Yeah, so I think I can say are the first three the things. It was going to school,
Yeah.
fighting for my creativity, and then saying yes to animation. So like when I went to that Black Woman Animates, it was like, this is what I'm here to do, and like I'm gonna figure out how to do it. And you see, those decisions had nothing to do with like immediate money rewards. Like it wasn't like, oh, you're gonna get money right now. It
Yeah.
was more of like a soul feeding of like, yenza lento, go to it now, like
It's right.
work right.
Something tells you this is it. You know this is it. Yeah.
Yes, and the people at the workshop, the one of the co-founders of the workshop, she also we also exchanged contacts, and her partner was like, "You like you're on fire." I was like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
She was like, we're gonna see something from you very soon." I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
Nice. She saw something.
Little did
Yes.
she know.
Yeah.
Little did she know that it was gonna become what it's becoming now. But so those are those affirming moments creatively that say, okay, push forward and do what you have to do. And then your other question was about the process. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What drove your decision making? Was it a let's do this now?
Yeah, it's heart, all heart,
Hmm.
all heart. Like it's not very logical. I don't even want to lie to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
There isn't a whole lot of logic. And I say that because when you're a pioneer, when you're trying something new, you're not going to have a lot of validation.
Yeah.
So it really is about, does this thing set my heart on fire?
Yeah.
And those are the way, that's the way I make the decisions. Like for a long time when I studied producing, I thought, no, as in I'm just gonna work on people's projects until like I'm 28, 30, like I'm gonna get some experience under my belt and serve, and then maybe
Do
I'll
something
see
after.
whatever.
Hmm.
And then like my my chief of he's the chief of development now at Studio Yezi, AJ Pitre. He was like, Tandy, so you're telling me if they gave you an opportunity to create a TV show, you're not gonna take it because you're too young?
Yeah.
And I was like, you like like
Almost like
damn,
a,
okay,
a great benefit, something. Yeah.
okay, that does sound stupid. Wait. So so I try to rewire my mind of like, okay, if they did offer it to me now, what would keep me from saying yes? And like,
Yeah.
how do I work through that? Um, and then when I started doing my own things, and when I registered, when like, okay, I was like, let me go register a company. Someone popped into my life to motivate me,
Yes.
and they gave me like the money to go open it. When I needed to like look for funding, someone came into my life and motivated me and was like, go look for information, go visit this agency, go visit this agency. Even if you don't get anything from them, get information, go talk to a person who knows a person who knows a person. I came back with stacks and stacks of papers, just of information, just to see like what's the process of getting, like actually acquiring those funding, like how do you pass the criteria marks, you know, to get through it. So a lot of it was diligence. It wasn't like, oh, you're gonna get this immediate reward right now. It was like, no, arm yourself with information right now, register your company right now, get a tax clearance right now, get a BEE certificate right now. Like those things that you don't really think about on an admin level, that when it's time to submit, now
Mm.
you have your whole folder ready. Don't look for the easiest reward when you're making these decisions. Look for the most affirming rewards. Like, so if you say, as in, I really want to study IT, for example,
Yeah.
ne? Maybe people in your family won't understand it, but then you'll have that one person in jail. Like you either meet them at a restaurant, you meet them at a library,
Yeah.
who just have a wealth of knowledge and information for you. Write it down. Don't take those moments for granted. Like that's when God is like, pushing you towards your destiny.
Because you know it. I mean, if it's something that's in you, you know it, regardless of how
You
you're
just
gonna get.
know.
It's just one of those things that you have to do.
100%. Don't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
That's important. Don't lie and be like, no, maybe I'm just imagining it. Maybe I'm just being unrealistic. And
Yeah.
you know, deep down, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm trying to do.
Awesome, awesome. I guess for me, um, what the key moves that I'm actually, as you were speaking, that I was thinking of, is the fact that not just the key moves alone, actually, is the fact that you actually were doing something. So whether it was something as simple as going to the animation event that led you to meet the people that you met, but you did something in the direction of what you wanted to do. So versus just talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. So I thought that was key actually, because I mean we can talk for years and at the end of the day, um, not do anything. And also another thing that I also found is just following. Many people say do your passion and follow your passion, etc., etc. Obviously, life is challenging. Sometimes some of us take the longer route, and in order to get to the point where we can actually say this is what we love doing. At each instance, you didn't hesitate when it came to like you met this person, you went to the animation place, you communicated with some people. So every person was basically a link. You use your links.
Every right, and it's so easy to miss if you're like not paying attention, because when I look back on it, it wasn't like a billboard saying, hey, talk to this
A link.
person. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
in
here
a
we are.
fire.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah,
It was just, I think, is that, like you said, it was the action and faith, right? It's like like you faith without works is dead, right?
exactly.
So you must be working, but you must be faithful. Like you must think, okay, I'm just gonna walk up to this person and I'm gonna say what's on my heart. Like I don't even know how it's gonna turn out. Like I did that to one of the people who's now directing Sola's shorts. I
Yeah.
just walked up to him. I was like, "Hey, I've been seeing you all day.
Mm.
My intuition has been telling me to talk to you, but I don't know. Like, what do you do? Like, I don't know. Like, who are you? What do you do? I'm Thandi. This is
Yes,
what
yes.
I do." He's like, I'm Chaz, I'm a director, I animate 2D, like he does like by himself, and like super diligent guy.
Yeah.
Ended up being like one of the most hardworking guys I know in the industry. He did Lil Nas X's Panini, is it Panini video? No, the Chowder video, the
Yeah.
animated video.
Mm.
He did that. He did stuff for Nike, like sport, like just like different brands. He did like an animated series for Steve Harvey.
Nice.
But this was when I met him, he wasn't all the way there yet, but he had done some work, but he wasn't like
Mm.
on where he is now.
Yes,
But
yes.
my intuition said, talk to him, just relate to him on a real level. Even he will tell you, he was like, I've never had anybody walk up to me like that, but I was very intrigued about what you had to say. Like, it's those type of things where sometimes I think we judge ourselves before we do the thing. And
Yeah.
sometimes the
That bit
thing.
of courage, just that bit of that thing that says, just go for it. I mean, the worst they can say is no at the end of the day.
And who you're not gonna die. Who
Exactly,
is nothing.
exactly. No's never killed anyone. So yeah, I'm really hoping that the viewers can take that away. That just being brave and because I mean, for me, it doesn't make sense if you're gonna have doctors that should be accountants or accountants that should be doctors or guys that should be artists. They're studying chemistry, but they should be artists.
What? Yeah, go do your part.
Exactly, do your part, but make sure that you are creative about the way you do it. Find a way of sticking out. But what I find is, I think one of the biggest problems, even when our parents, when we were growing up, it would be like medicine science, is because also when we said we want to do something different, we're not creative about it. Like we don't knock on the right doors. Like if you want to be an artist, make sure that you're not just any artist, but you're speaking to the world's best artists. That type of mentality. I'm hoping people would start understanding that there's no such thing that there's no opportunity in something, but it's more about what you are actually willing to do to get to the highest level of what you want to do.
100%. It's what opportunities are you gonna make out of
Exactly.
where you are and what you're doing? Like even now when we got our first the first time, like now we got our first funding this year
Yes, yes.
from the DAC. Now it's DSAC now. Um, And our funding, it wasn't like a whole lot,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
In fact, when I looked at it, I was like, this is our funding is gonna get us started, but it's not gonna get us to the finish line. And I'd
Yeah.
hate us to not get to the finish line.
Mm.
Um, and so I remember it was about making smart decisions. It
Yeah.
wasn't like I can't follow like just a regular producing blueprint. I was like, this is
Mm.
not a regular project. I have to like figure out how to reach the most people
Mm.
in the shortest amount of time.
Mm.
So we did crowdfunding
Yes.
and press.
Mhm.
And because usually you do press at the end, we sort of like we flipped it. We were like, no, we're already doing something that's unknown.
Yeah.
Let's pitch it to the world.
Yeah.
Let's find out if they want something like this.
Yeah. Mm.
And so that's so again, it's those innovative moves that you make that they don't make sense to people, but if you and your team are like, this is crazy, but let's do it. Like, then it's like, okay, let's go.
You know, while you're saying that, it's actually leading me on to my next question. It's leading me to my next question, which
Yes,
is, so there's Thandiwe, the creative, and then there's Thandiwe, the businesswoman. Um,
yes.
Take me through those worlds.
That's really that's very, very interesting because I'm a creative first.
Yeah.
Definitely a creative first. Like even the way I think is very like creative and non-linear.
Yeah.
And what I'm very grateful for is my degree trained my mind as a producer.
Yeah.
Like it drilled it into us. So like I have the formula in my head, like
Mm.
from sign your contracts to finish your budget
Yeah.
to patient scouts, like all the things that we need to like. I could be a production coordinator if push came to shove. Like
Yeah.
if like if I didn't have a company and I wasn't doing what I was doing, I would have like I could apply and become like a production coordinator, a line producer. I could be a creative producer. I could be in the writers team. Like I can, like those are the skills that they
Mm.
sort of infused into me.
Yeah.
So when it comes to what I do, we definitely are creative first, but
Mm.
I'm also like very much about the checks and balances.
Yeah.
We make sure that our operations are running smoothly for as long as we've committed to them.
Mm.
Even like as we like I didn't bring people on before I had the money. Like I don't like that thing. I
Yeah.
don't want my contractors chasing for invoices,
Yeah.
things like that. Like we
Very
were like
uncomfortable.
let's try like I was like let's set a different precedent
Mhm.
because as a owned black female owned production company,
Yeah.
let our reputation be something else. Like
Yes.
let people be like, yo, that's the easiest money. Like yes, it was
That's
in
some
on
of
time, on
yeah.
schedule. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It was the most rewarding in terms of like even the project. We want to make sure people are like heart involved with their hearts. Like there's
Mm.
no way you can get onto the Studio Yezi team
Mhm.
and just think you're here to collect a check.
Yeah.
It's really hard to stay that detached because we're such a heart-centered group of
Mm.
people that
Yeah.
you're gonna fall in love with us and you're gonna be like,
This is
okay,
what
like
I'm
I'm
thinking. Yeah. Mm.
you know. So
Mm.
it is a balance. I think when it comes to business, for me, it's about making bold and daring moves,
Mhm.
which is also scary because they can fail. Like it's not guaranteed.
And yet the
But
head too, you're the head, so it has an
it's
impact
all on me.
on everyone.
Yeah, like
Mm.
I take if we fail, I take the heat. But
Mm.
if we win,
Wow, wow. Goes both ways. Yeah.
you know, there's risks and there's rewards.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about I think for us and for the viewers listening, if you want to be creative, always find out about the business of that industry. Like don't sleep. Like there's a business to graphic design.
Yeah.
There's a business to animation. There's a business to fine art. There's a business to write creative writing to journalism. Like there's a business model for everything.
Mm.
Like if you ask artists, they may not know, but their agents do. Their agents know, go see, these are the galleries,
Mm.
this is the economic flow in the industry. This is where buyers continue to buy even during economic recession.
Yeah.
Like there's people who know the ins and outs, and what you want to do as a person going into a creative field is to find that kind of information.
Yeah.
Understand? Like, because producing is the business of filmmaking.
Mm.
I really did a business degree in filmmaking.
Cool.
So find the business, and then you want to just cross your T's, dot your I's, man. Like, you just be very diligent. Like, I know when we were recording the film, um, in the studio, the engineers, like, we were very prepared. Like, we had the call sheets, we had a list of the scenes that we were going to be recording, and then
Mm.
the different emotional reaction sounds. And I remember, like, the one engineer was like, yo, you guys are way more organized than even like corporate guys that we deal with.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's
That's
the
what you
one.
want. That's
Yeah, so that's what I like to hear.
yeah.
Cause yes, we have to be. That's what we that's the word of mouth we want
Yeah.
when when we leave a room. Like, oh my God, it was a pleasure working with them. They were
Yes.
so
Yes.
organized.
Mm.
You know, those are the things that to think about when you're trying to balance business and creative, is that you want to remember the impact that you're leaving on people.
That's true.
Don't be so self-involved in the creativity that you forget that you're working with people.
Yeah. They're not robots. They're actual human beings.
100%.
Okay.
And those human beings, word of mouth is powerful. Those human beings become your marketing team.
And that is true. That's actually very true.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of key points that you actually touched on, which I found very interesting, was when it came to payment, right? The whole
Yeah.
idea of, you raised as a very solid, pertinent point, payment. Like, you do not want to create a name for yourself that you're a late payer. It's those types of, and also that you don't pay well. Like, for me, I've never understood why people can't share a piece of the pie. Because if you are
You're
doing
never going
well.
to finish it on your own.
Exactly, exactly. So if your whole team, if you as Studio Yezi are doing well, then everyone within the organization should be doing well as well. It shouldn't be there shouldn't be a disconnect between you and everyone else that's your contractor, for instance. They must be happy. They should not have, and you should not have cases where they're considering money as a thing, especially for them to do good work. They need to know that no, they're paid, it's decent, they can take care of their, I think in one of the interviews you mentioned electricity, the internet connection, etc. It shouldn't be that scenario where they are thinking, I love where I work, but I can't even get data.
But
Though it's those types of scenario, and I think people lose the plot. I hope you don't lose that, Tandi.
like, I pray I don't, because I that's the most important part, especially in, funny enough, because you're a tech platform.
Yeah,
One of the things for us was like, how do we support tech wise
yeah,
with our team, because everybody's at home.
yeah.
So I remember, like, in our contracts, and this is okay, I hope the team doesn't hit me for sharing this, but we one of the things that we were really gung-ho about was about, if they're at home,
Mhm.
let's add like an extra fee, like, for data and electricity.
Yes, yes.
So, like, all our contractors were like, what's in the contract right now? I was like, no, like, it's not a lot, but it's enough. Like, just
Mm.
what we're saying as a company is, this was your fee.
Yeah,
We're just adding on because we know that you are working from home, and this is going to inevitably take up data. When you guys are uploading these files for us,
yeah,
you're gigabytes and gigabytes of data. If
mm,
telecom is down, you guys are hotspotting with your phones.
yeah.
That's going to cost you something. You
Mm.
know what I mean? So we added that as like a surprise, like a little surprise bonus in the contract, so they,
Yeah.
when they sign them back, the email's like, wait, what is that? Like, I wasn't expecting
Yeah,
a
yeah,
data electricity like voucher. And it's like, no. But
yeah.
I think part of what the reason why I also did it officially through the contracts was that
Yeah.
when we report back to DAC, I
Yes.
want them to take that note culturally. We would see, you need to add that as part of people's
Part of
budgets with
exactly. Yes, yes.
the fee, and then it's data and electricity, especially if we're working from home during Corona.
Yeah.
So it was more so about setting a precedent
Mm.
officially, like leaving a paper trail, so
Mm.
that when they audit our books and they ask us, okay, why did you, what was this here?
What is this? Yeah.
No, this is what people need to create the work that you want them to create.
Yeah.
And when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's affordable.
Yeah.
People just don't have the mind to think for people, and I don't understand that. That's so crazy to me.
And in a country like ours, it's actually a need. So it's not like it's not like you are saying, hey, this is just one of those luxuries that I'm giving away. It's actually a need. At least you are cognizant of the fact that this is a need. Not everyone will be able to upload all those files that you mentioned. So
Honestly, and it came from my own thing. Our internet here was
yeah,
how come it was in and out, in and out.
yeah,
So like during these meetings, I knew I had to like now I have like a separate modem that I
yeah,
just work with. But for the longest time, I was hotspotting with my phone,
yeah.
and every time I was buying data, I was like 300 for
Like,
like.
for this, exactly.
I was like,
It's
and then
also a
everybody
ripple.
else,
Exactly. Like,
I was like, and then everybody is everybody affording these prices? No
how can a
ways.
normal person afford these prices? It was ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah,
honestly ridiculous. So
yeah, hmm,
that was when I saw. I think to have empathy for people is really, really important in the creative field.
yeah.
You know,
And you win them for life, pretty much.
I hope, child, if
No,
stay here for life, child, we'll take care of you.
no, you do because even when you were saying it, I was just thinking to myself, like, it's little things that business owners or company owners or CEOs do that make you feel special, right? Because we are human beings, as we alluded to earlier on. So just that small touch, and you not just including it all as a cost to company type of vibe, but you just saying that this is for data, this is for you, to show that we understand that you're living in South Africa, and it's just the extra amount. I think it makes a huge difference. So yeah, so I guess obviously only time will tell. As
Right. We'll see. We'll see if we get fruits from that labor. But I hope so. I really, for me, it's really about the people who are not in touch on the ground, like the people in the offices.
hmm,
Where like it should not be normal to have unpaid internships in 2020, not in this economy.
exactly. I don't know what kind of slavery
You know that.
you're running. What kind of operation that is. You're right. Just to say that you're
You
there.
know, like I did an unpaid internship in America, and I was
Yeah,
lucky because being driver is Koro said Toyota from
yeah,
'98, ne?
yeah.
But I had it. But
Hmm,
I remember like having to budget extra money just
yeah,
to get there, and it was
yeah.
unpaid. It just didn't make sense. I'm like, okay, so the people who don't have a Koro to drive,
What will they
they
do?
must take 4 buses. Are they paying for all these buses to go to an internship? Like,
Yeah, and it makes learning harder if you have to consider all these things that are sort of against you. Sure, they'll make you stronger, but not everyone goes to those
at
same
what
levels.
cost?
That's what
At
I'm
what
saying.
cost? You
Especially
know?
if you're learning, yeah. So it's a yeah, and people shouldn't have to go through that. Not in this day and
I
age.
don't think so. No. So like for me, it's like I think God has put me in an interesting position where I'm like I'm an in-betweener right now.
Yeah,
I'm very connected to the ground,
yeah,
but I've got the ears of the people in
yeah,
offices.
yeah,
So my goal is to make those messages translate across the board. Like that's why like, again with the whole data electricity thing,
yeah,
that was like it was a heart-centered move, but it was also very strategic on my part. I was like, I
yeah.
want them to see it in the budget, like in the
Yes,
audit,
yeah.
in the report,
It is one of the
so that they
costs. It's one of the costs. Yes, expenses.
so that they know, like, and to know that the next time you give me money, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised.
Yes,
Like
this is yeah.
it, this needs to be a standard. This needs to be a norm, and I feel like those type of things we bravely, courageously, sort of like push those things forward. It's not everything that change must just come from the outside. Like
Yeah, no, it doesn't just
we
happen.
those of us in my position need to
Yeah.
push the
Mm.
agenda forward. I think I also say this like because we also have these conversations on privilege all the time.
Yeah.
And I was privileged enough that my mom was able to take me to school. She sacrificed a lot,
Yeah.
but she sent me to school, right?
Yeah.
And I graduated debt free.
Yes.
And so when I came back, just having the degree from America also opened up different kind of doors
Definitely.
for
I
me.
would imagine. Yeah. That's a
Like it, and because it's like they get excited. Oh, America, okay, what do you have for us?
yeah.
But then, and there are a couple of us. I'm not the only one. There were a lot of South African girls
Mm.
out there too,
Yeah.
and I urge them also to consider their privilege. You could see when God puts you in a position like the way like this,
Mm.
you must think in both directions. Don't just be like, yeah, I'm gonna yo. Desi's gonna give me money, I'm
Yeah,
rich.
yeah,
No, like it's how do I distribute this money fairly? How
yeah,
do I make sure that even a person who's talented but poor right now, they need like a boost. How do I reach that person? How do I, how do we change? Because when you're in a position of privilege, I do think it's important that we take it seriously and that we do our best to move as a group. I
yeah,
don't want to win alone. Winning alone is very lonely. I'm like, no, like I need us to come together because
yeah,
the victory is just that much sweeter.
yeah.
Um,
And the
so I
view
do
start
hope.
from the top. Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I do hope that the kids who do graduate debt free, whether they go to the States or they go to UCT or VITS or wherever, when you're in, if your parents know somebody that knows somebody,
Mm.
don't sleep on that privilege. Don't take advantage of that privilege. Just
Yeah,
like, how do I say it? Like, don't think you're better than other people because you have
yeah,
that privilege,
yeah,
but use that privilege to the benefit of other people as well. I
yeah.
think that's the most responsible thing we can do.
Yeah, it is. It is. Because also to acknowledge that privilege as well, and to not assume that everyone everyone you see also had that same advantage or that privilege of being able to go to some form of schooling or
You know?
many people forget that. I mean, you you always attribute it to hard work, but the reality is there are certain areas he might not get to just because of that, not having that privilege or not see
That
or
class
not
being able
seeing that
to,
this was the next step. So yeah, so it's very important. So Thandiwe,
yeah.
what how do we work at Studio Yes? Right? What skills are required? Are the internships for us? Like what? Because you need to let us know how do we, right? So we love animation. We grew up on
Yeah.
animation. Now we want to know how do we become part of the team? And we also heard about your benefits, that electricity. I'll call it almost like our Obamacare in a way. So it's like it's that electricity. So how do we get?
Electricity subsidies and things.
Yes, yeah,
No, that's a good question. 2021 is going to be a very interesting year for Studio
yeah,
Yezi.
yeah,
We moved with a very small core team this year. So next year we are going to be opening up positions
yeah,
because we're moving into the animation phase.
yeah.
So we're shifting gears again. We're a development company. So even when we recorded the film, we rehearsed with the voice actors for 8 weeks before
Wait,
we
wait.
even laid down vocals. And we did it virtually
Mhm.
because COVID had just hit. And I was like, I'm not stopping. Like, we need to figure out how to get this thing rolling. Because if we're going to get depressed if we sit still. Even that, like, outside of Garabo,
Mhm.
doing
Mhm.
the rest of the voice acting cast, they're new to it,
Yeah,
so we're opening up the industry in that way. So we're currently designing a couple of programs
yeah.
for creatives. So like basically you'll be able to apply to join the voice acting development program, and if you go through the whole process, the 8-week process with us,
Yes.
and there will be a stipend. So like we're not going to make like like we are going to give you your data
Not
and
some
electricity.
sweatshop operation. Yeah, yeah.
So we're creating that program so that by the end of that, we're gonna have a batch of voice actors that we can now use for our project and that we can use across different. Like basically, we're gonna help the industry so that like there's more choices of voice actors,
Yeah.
and we're gonna try our best to position them with us. If not with us, we're gonna make sure they have glowing recommendations from us so that they can get the next job. We're setting up a program, a writing development program as
Mhm.
well, that people will be able to apply to. We're
Mhm.
doing another one for animation as well and storyboarding. So essentially what we're doing is trying to create skills development along with creating the actual animated series. So the legacy of Solar should come with not just the story, but how many more African people we empowered.
Awesome.
Um, so we are going to be opening those programs for people, creative programs. And then there will be internships as well. And then, of course, just regular hires because we're going to be getting the ball rolling
Yeah.
once we open up 2021 again. So, yes, there will be positions that you guys can apply for. And we're going to make sure that we try to our best to make it a fair process,
Mhm.
easy, accessible process. Like, you don't have to pay for applications. Like,
Yeah.
we're not going to try and exclude people financially from the opportunity of working with us. So we're definitely going to make that a thing.
And what's in demand though? Because I want to start something, but I want to get started. But what from the writing to the production, what would you say is a skill set that is highly in demand? Because I mean, I'd like to go for the top of the, for something that everyone wants, and at least start learning it early.
That's really hard to say,
Mm.
honestly, because I don't think it's a matter of demand more
Yeah.
than it is a matter of passion. Like
Okay.
because what you're passionate about, you want to aim to be the top of that.
Yeah.
Um, because in every because I've worked in so many different there's so many different aspects of production, from sound to like writing to whatever,
Yeah.
that the people I was attracted to were
Mhm.
people who had passion for their work, and their passion showed in how much time they put into their work.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, one of our character designers, he's a Nigerian guy, Bolaji Olaloye.
Yeah.
Dope, one of the like, dopest artists on the freaking planet, right?
Yeah.
And I saw his work. I was like, oh my goodness, who are you? Like, I need to get a meeting with you, like, ASAP, you
Mhm.
know? So I do a meeting with him. And like, I was already sold on him, right? But I'm like, I just want to hear who he is and what he's about. As he's talking, he tells me, no, like, I did a challenge a couple of years ago where I did a drawing a day for the whole year. So 365
Sure.
drawing,
Sure.
365 days. I was like, huh? I was like,
Yeah.
what? He goes,
Mhm.
no, like every day. And I'm like, that's cute for the first 20 days. How did you do on day 60 and day
Yeah.
100 and day 150? He was like, Tandy, that shit was so tiring.
Yeah.
But when you look at his work now,
Yes.
you can see the confidence in the lines, in the color, you can see that repetition did something,
Ah,
you
no,
know?
no, can you please repeat that again? That skill, because of the hours that he put in. I don't think people will understand the jewels in that statement, the difference between when he started and at the end.
His
Mm,
confidence, because you can tell as artists, regardless of what field you're in,
yeah,
you can tell when someone is confident in a particular thing. Like,
yeah,
for example, line art.
yeah.
Line art, you can't be ngcangcazela.
Mm,
You know,
mm.
what art is clean. It needs to
What,
be
what is line
clean.
art for the benefit of someone like myself and the viewers?
Sure. So like it would be like the line art is the tracing, it's like the outline of
Oh, okay, I see.
whatever the art is.
Yeah,
So like if you're doing a coloring book, it's literally like the art without the color.
yes, which was
So
quite
you just
cool actually. Mm,
do you see what I mean? It's
yeah,
like it has to be clean, because
mm,
if you're doing a coloring book, for example, you can't have squiggly lines and then people are coloring in. They must be nice and round, and like when it's round and smooth,
mm.
you trust the character more because it feels bouncy. When it's
Yeah, yeah.
nice and sharp,
Mm,
oh, this one is the villain. You know, or like there's certain lines and shapes communicate things psychologically to people, whether we pick up on it or not. Like you can see, like if you look at a cartoon and you see like if it's supposed to be a father figure, a man or a father figure, you'll always see like squarish shapes.
yeah, they do that
Like,
quite often.
you know
Yes,
what I mean? It's like it's grounded, it's big, it's
makes
solid.
you respect
And
them.
then
There's that
babies,
authority. Yeah, mm,
exactly. Babies round. You find
mm,
a lot of rounds and ovals.
yeah,
When it's a witch or a villain, you'll find he has a uno buso like
yeah, yeah.
triangles
Craft,
and
it's
sharp edges.
mm,
Yeah. So those things communicate things to us psychologically, to tell us about the character outside of them actually saying anything.
yeah,
So when you do line art, you need to be confident in those strokes. You need to
yeah,
you need to be able to see that. And when you look at Balaji's work,
yes,
you see that, and
mm,
it's like it's a
mm,
culmination of, like, he'll tell you like he can do a drawing in like 2 hours,
yes.
and then people want to pay him less because he took 2 hours. He's like, eh.
Not
The
for
fact that I
you.
can do it in,
Yeah,
the fact
yeah,
that I can do it in 2 hours means I worked really hard to get there. So you're
yeah.
paying for that work.
Exactly. Yeah, which is fair.
You're paying for that diligence.
Mm,
Yeah. So
mm. So is that
it's really
skilled? Mm,
100%. Like, he should be bigger than what he is right now. I'm telling you.
yes,
Like, Studio Yezi, it was destiny. We caught him at a good time.
yes.
Because had we got him in 2021, he'd be 3 times more expensive.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes timing does also have
it
as
it changes things, and like I was like, no, let's put him on the map. Like, so we try to do our best to credit everybody, like in our posts, and like, so we want people to know who's doing what and like who's where, you know.
yeah.
Um, because it's a collaborative effort. I don't want people to drown in the Studio Yezi name. I want to be like Studio Yezi in collaboration with.
With so and so, exactly. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes. So yeah, work hard, guys. That's what I would say. Like, cause your hard work shows. It reflects
because then your interview with him was more of just you seeing his character than anything. His skills, you
more
were,
than anything. I was sold. I was
yeah,
like, even if he doesn't understand a lick of English,
yeah,
I'm gonna. But no, he does. But like in my mind, I'm like, I don't care what the challenge is. Like
yeah. His
I'm.
craft. He,
Yeah. And
mm,
then when I actually spoke to him,
mm,
and super intelligent guy. He has so much to offer. Very shy though,
yeah,
very shy. But even I remember we did because we had like an Instagram series for all the people who've been working on Solar.
yeah.
So when we did his Instagram interview, he was so scared to do it.
Mm,
And so, but then when he did it, he was like, "Oh my gosh, this was actually really fun. Now I actually think I have the confidence to do my YouTube videos. Now I've been wanting to do YouTube
nice.
videos and teach people about art, but like I didn't know if I could do it." And I'm like, "No, man, go for it!" Like,
Exactly. Just why not? What's the worst that could happen? Yeah.
100%. And so now, like he's got that like and the also came from his community. Like he's got a really dope following,
Mm,
and they were in the chat being like, "Yeah, we'll actually do it.
yeah.
Yeah, like."
Mm,
like his own community came to the show, and they were
bored.
like,
Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
yeah. So just things like that, man. Like I think be diligent when you, even if you're working for another business, just put your best foot forward, man.
Yeah. Mm,
Put your best foot forward. Like just try. Don't do your best.
mm. I know that's, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, what more can you say, Sandy? When you give people these types of jewels, I really, that's my biggest challenge. It's sometimes I feel like it gets frustrating how you see people with so much potential. I mean, especially in our country. Our country, we've got some of the brightest minds and like literally
Hey,
in the world, I'll say. So, but yet when you just see them just complacent, like whatever, um, you know,
taking your
no,
time.
like,
Like,
yeah, no, we'll see if it happens, or woe is me, or and then you've got other people literally that are like, hey, I won't take no for an answer. I need to push until it happens. So yeah, so for me, I hope interviews like these ones will actually someone, even if it's just one person that says,
yeah,
hang on, so yeah,
I can.
yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
can do it. And it's not
exactly.
just someone saying, "Oh, yes, you can." No, like you really can do it. Don't be afraid of hard work, is what I say. I don't think you need to break your back,
No, 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 no.
but
Unnecessary.
but but don't be afraid of hard work. Like,
Exactly.
don't be afraid of pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. It's scary.
Mm,
I, as a creator, I can tell you, yesterday I was so exhausted.
mm,
I was like, because I'm 26, by the
yeah.
way,
Mm.
and imagine. So I'm like telling my mom yesterday, I'm like, yo, I'm I'm like, intanga zami December, it's December. You know
Relaxile,
what I mean?
man.
I'm like, I'm here like
Pushing.
cracking away at budgets
Yeah.
and invoices and receipts, and my peers are
Mm,
having the time of their lives
yeah.
in the clubs, in the streets.
Mm,
And like people, I was like, yo, I'm tired. Like I'm tired. And my mom was like, Tandi, you'll be rewarded. Like these
exactly.
things are not that thing.
Mm.
She was like, you'll find that like you're setting yourself up, and the success that people hit in their 40s, you'll hit it in your 30s
Yes,
because you
exactly. Yeah.
planting seeds now.
Mm.
So it's that thing, a good team. There are times where you have to push through what you think you can do. Like,
Yes.
I know this is all I'm capable of. I am tired. And then like something must push you just a little bit further than that.
Exactly. And also,
Yeah.
like, you touched on your peers. I mean, also, you find the time people go to all these places, the clubs, etc., they don't even want to be there. Some they actually, I'm serious. That they're hiding their passion for what they want to go. They know what they need to be doing, but they're
But
literally just
instead
wasting
they
time.
are
Exactly, they're
distracting.
just wasting time, and I think that's why it's so important that you, are focusing on this. So your mother is right in the sense you're planting seeds for your future. So the future of Studio Yezi,
Yeah.
or all the other endeavors as well, you're planting those seeds. But on that note, though, while you're planting those seeds, so what I assume will be happening as you progress through the years, etc., more and more corporates are going to start becoming more interested. And with corporates, it's normally what can they gain. So it's a two-way streak, obviously. What can you give them, and what can vice versa. If
Mm-hmm.
someone came and gave you 50 million, right,
Yes.
right now, and said, "Thandiwe,
Mhm.
here, blank check," right?
Yeah.
Um, and I asked this question this way purposely, like I say, what would you do with it and why?
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm not
And
saying
it's funny
land,
because
by
I've
the way.
been cranking. And it's funny because I've been cranking away at budgets, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
Like this last week has been a financial week,
yeah,
bookkeeping, budgeting.
mm.
Oh my God, like I would employ so many more people. I tell people all the time,
Whoa,
like my you
yes,
don't know, like my team knows, like I was like, my goal for Studio Yezi is that I want to employ 150
nice.
people for at least a minimum of like 10 years.
Yeah, really awesome.
I'm like, I just want to feed families.
Yeah, yeah,
Like let's make some dope stuff while feeding our families. And so if I got a blank check, for me it would really be about structuring
mm,
payments. Like how do I structure my salaries,
yeah,
HR, operations, like because now we're even looking at like medical aid for small businesses. We're going to see
oh,
how
yes,
can we subsidize medical aid for people who work with us. Like we
mm,
really are trying to like make it the most supportive structure that you can find.
yeah,
um so even as a CEO, I'm not giving myself an exuberant salary either.
mm.
Like it's fair, but it's not like I'm not like, oh, taking home like 200,000, like,
The top,
and
yeah,
then like everyone else is earning 20. Like that doesn't
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
like first of all, the production needs money. Like I'm not doing
yeah,
that. So I do think I've been wise with money. So like I feel like, and I think I've proven to myself, my team, to
mhm,
God, and even the auditors at DAC
yeah,
that I can handle more money
mm,
because I'm not using it in a crazy way. So I
mm,
think if I had that type of check, it would just be about how do we set up employment structures and how do we get the people who wouldn't otherwise have access to this employment to us.
mm,
So like if we're hiring, like I know one of the girls on our media team, she's originally from the Northwest. She's
yeah,
from Mahigeng.
yeah,
And she says she has trouble sometimes integrating into like Joburg and stuff because the one bakhuluma Zulu or whatever. Like
yeah,
like how people are when it comes to tribes.
yeah,
Um, they always have something to say. And she's like one of the most brilliant minds that I've ever come across in my life. Like the way she does social media,
yes,
bananas.
is it?
Like
Mm,
she's what you see on our social media is her. She's the
mm,
one who's been editing our videos, putting
it's
up
very good.
gifs, and
And the
you know
Instagram,
what I mean?
mm,
Yeah, like that's her. She's Reconnected Media.
mm,
That's her company. And I was like, it's companies like hers that deserve a boost.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like so she's the type of people I think about when you ask me those questions. I'm like, oh,
mm,
how do I um empower her and make sure she's earning above even more than what she thinks she's worth, you
yeah,
know? Is my PR team, like they are going gang, like they going hard for your girl.
yeah.
They
They're
how
pushing,
do I
they're
make
pushing.
you
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, they are,
you
because I've
know
noticed you're everywhere. You are literally everywhere.
absolutely, like you can't open a social
Yeah,
app and you don't find me
yeah,
right now. So
yeah,
it's like those people, how do I make sure that they don't go hungry? Like, how do I
yeah.
make sure that they're getting above what even what they think they're
Mm,
worth? Like, it's about I'm trying to set a new standard for us, and I don't know what it's gonna do for the future of the industry.
yeah,
I don't know if it's one of those things where I'll just be the only one and then I'll die, or am I gonna be the one and then I inspire others? I don't know
mm,
yet.
mm,
But what I do know is that when there's a model for something, it's
yeah,
easier to adapt.
mm,
So I want to create a model for people like, oh, here's another way we can do it.
yeah.
We can take care of our creatives. This is an option.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it's
Let's see how to
possible.
get
I
it done.
mean, yeah. Mhm.
You
And
know
yet
what
it's
I mean?
viable and sustainable at the same time. So
It's viable,
mm,
and it's sustainable because people want to keep working for you. You
yeah,
have to remember that what you're sustaining is not the money, you're
yeah,
sustaining your workforce.
Nice. True.
That's the real.
Mm.
The money is not the reward, the people are.
Yeah. Mm.
So we need to treat our people like they matter because they do.
Mm. No, that's
Yeah.
true. I hope we broadcast that message across across the country and across the world that our people matter.
100%.
But Tanya, then what's slowing progress? Because I mean, so Pixar was founded in 1986. I did just a little Google search, animation studios, etc., etc. And but yet you are the first black woman to own an independent sort of animation studio. You
Yeah.
think there'd be more owners of not just animation studio production houses,
Production
sort
companies
of
in
production
general,
companies.
right?
So, what in our country do you think is the reason that our progress has been slow? Because
Um,
you went abroad, so you saw things,
yeah.
for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it is my mom is a big dreamer and she
Yeah.
instilled that in me.
Mm.
And she's because she has a PhD, so she was like, Tandy, you must beat
Oh,
me.
you come from an academic family, right? So you can
Like
imagine
hundred
the drive would
percent,
be.
like
Yeah,
100%. Like
yeah,
my mom has a PhD, my dad, he's a lecturer, he's an engineer.
yeah,
So it was like both of them are very intelligent people, and
yeah,
they sort of respect academics more than anything.
yeah,
So they pushed me in that sense. It was that
mm, yeah,
I would say slow to progress. I do think the systemic aspect has a lot plays a large part, like people having access to education, employment, and
mhm,
then I hate to say this, but animation is a white boys club.
mhm,
When you Google the statistics for animation in South Africa, we have maybe between 14 to 17 animated productions, and this
mhm,
is film and TV.
mhm,
All of them are directed by white men
mhm.
on an like on Africa, like
Are
in
you
our
talking about the
continent,
whole
in
of?
our
Are you talking
country.
about the whole of Africa?
No, like here in South Africa, let me
In
say
South
that
Africa?
like it's only white men who directed animated anything, whether
Yeah,
it's a TV or whatever production that was there,
mm,
it's white men.
yeah.
And but it's a South Africa. You're like, how does that work?
The numbers
So
don't
I
add
do
up.
think they don't. And so I do think there is an element of gatekeeping that
Mm,
happens.
yeah,
And I don't even think that it's always malicious. People
yeah,
hire people that look like them. People hire people that they are familiar with.
yeah.
I don't like it, but that's what they do.
That they can relate.
So
Relate to.
that they can relate to, you know what I mean? So I'm like, well, I'm gonna do the same, and y'all not gonna tell me about it.
Wow.
but but I say that to say, so I think there is a systemic thing that slows our progress down. But
Mm,
I do think, honestly, the biggest thing is fear.
yeah.
It's fear. Like, you don't know how I felt when I pulled the trigger for Solar and Studio Yezi. Like, the day, like the night before press, like the night before, like, in fact, that week before
Yeah.
we even started press, like, as we were preparing, like, this is the strategy, this is the da da da.
Yeah.
I was terrified
Mm.
because I'm putting my neck out. Remember talking about like risks and rewards. It
Everything.
was like people could literally laugh at me and be like, "Ah, when I'm a Popeye,"
What's this doing? Yeah, with the Popeye bag. Yeah, yes, yes. Look
you
at
know
you.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Fear keeps us from our dreams a lot of the time. So I feel like there's so many young kids who probably have the biggest dreams they can think of,
Mm.
but somewhere someone in their environment is telling them that it's not possible,
Yeah.
and they are believing it. So
Mm.
I think that slows our progress down significantly, especially for Black and Brown children. Um,
How did you get over that fear? Because I'm sure many people would like to find out as well. Like
who is
people's parents are telling them, listen here.
good to know.
Not otherwise.
Like this is,
Yeah.
I think you do it scared.
Mm.
Do it scared. Like I remember who was my first interview? My first interview was Lindy. No. It was Power FM
Power FM, yes.
morning with was Mararwa. What's his name? He's even said we must call him Putpinky because he dyed his hair. He does the morning show. He's the guy who does like marathons and stuff. But I forget his name now. evading me.
And Power FM questions weren't going to be jokey. They're going to be
You
serious
know what I
questions.
mean? Like
Yeah.
and it's like 5:30 in the morning, so I had to wake up a little bit earlier, and like
Yeah.
it's a phone interview, and so like I remember like praying, like
Yeah.
prayer help. I was remember
Good,
praying,
good
like, and I was
move.
like,
Good
God,
move. Yes.
like God, just take the wheel. Like if you're positioning me here, I
Mm.
think this is what it is. Trust in your positioning. If God places you in a place, don't believe the imposter syndrome that says, "Oh, I don't deserve to be here." Maybe, like the words that, because like your brain will create stories to try and get you out of the doing the thing.
Yeah.
But if you find yourself in that position, pray that you do your best in that position. I remember like even listening to Spirit by Beyonce, she'll be like, "Your destiny is coming close." And I'm like, "Yes, stand up and fight." Like, you're like, "Yes, like I can do this." You know what I mean? Like, it's just those things where you have to pump yourself up. Like, ooh, even Bonang says it. What is there's a video that popped up on the timeline where she was like, you must tell yourself things every day. Like, but they're not gonna tell you. People are not going to. They're gonna jump on the bandwagon like you opened this interview with. They will bandwagon, but they're not gonna push the wagon forward until it's going downhill and it's like speeding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to be able to tell yourself, I'm going to do the things that need to be done. Like you have to pump yourself up every day. And like I said, do it scared.
Mm.
And God will test you in the funniest ways, guys. You just need to pay attention to the signs. Like
Yeah.
you'll find that you'll think all doors are closed,
Yeah.
and then God like cracks open a window. And that's why I say pay attention to the people you meet.
Yeah.
Your people are your resources.
Pay
Don't think it's the
attention to
money.
the people you meet.
100%. Like when I was developing solar in when I was in LA, like my last year in LA, I was broke. I
Mm-hmm.
was not making any money.
Mm.
I could barely like cover my rent and stuff. I remember I actually got evicted.
Yeah.
This is a story you don't know. I was
Mm.
getting evicted, and eviction takes, it's like from the time that they tell you, like the rental company is like hitting you with the thing,
Mm.
to the end is about 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
So it's 2 to 3 month process. So I knew when I got my letter for court, I was like, oh shit, probably gonna like I got a month and a half left. Every day of that month and a half, I knew I wasn't gonna cover the rent, so I needed to pack up. I needed to do the things. But
Yeah.
can I tell you, every day I used to wake up and I'd go to Starbucks.
Yeah.
I'd pay for $2 coffee, and I
Yeah.
would sit there all day and write
Yeah.
all day. And then I remember one day I was like, and like yeah, you have like you eat from home, you eat your little sandwich at home, so you just want to buy something there, so you're not like just sitting there.
Yeah.
So I remember like I was like trying to figure out like story, and then this guy walks in, and like it's like a friend group. They walk in together.
Mm.
And I'm like, God just gave me like a thing,
Mm.
that thing. Hey,
Mm.
pay attention, pay attention.
Mm.
So I stopped what I was doing and I look at him and I'm like, okay, if he, we'll see. Let's just let
Mm.
him buy his drink.
Mm.
Does he not come to sit opposite me?
Mm.
The same person that the zing, you came sit down.
Yeah.
I Nimbuge, because I'm like, I don't just want to say anything. I'm like, I want to see like what's his business?
Mm.
Does he not take out an iPad and he's drawing a comic? I was like, wait, God, now you playing with me. I was
Yeah.
like, hi, what do you do? Like, what He's like, hi, I'm Jared. I'm a character designer. I work at Fox.
Mm.
What?
Yeah.
Like, it was like, wait. And he ended up being one of the people who helped to workshop Solar.
Yes.
He was like, oh yeah, like this is more exciting. Like this is, if I was watching an action adventure, I'd want more of this and more of this.
Yeah.
And I'll see him like twice a week, every week. And he would just help me, Jay, just because.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
And like, would I have met him if I didn't wake up? I was depressed. I was like getting
Yeah. I mean,
evicted, but I was like,
eviction.
no, I need to.
Yeah, exactly. You could have told yourself. You could have told yourself, forget this, man. I need to go back to SA. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I knew I had to go back to SA, but it was like, I'm going to push it until the very last day.
Yeah.
because I'm like, I want to get all my days in and figure out, and like it literally would work out like that, like where you your diligence gets rewarded. Like I met that guy maybe after going to Starbucks every day for about 3 weeks, three, four
Yes, yes.
weeks. So I'd been consistently like wake up, meditate,
Mm,
pray. I'd cry because I'm like, damn it, I'm getting evicted, but I can't stay in the cry for too long.
mm,
Let me get up, And then after a while, I think God was like, okay, she's ready. She's ready
mm.
for the next step. She's ready for the next step. So in whatever it is that you're doing, prove to God that you're ready. Be like, give me the next blessing. Give me the next blessing. Don't be expecting the biggest rewards in the beginning. Just take your daily manna until God opens up more.
Until you get to where you need to get to.
100%. It's a journey. It's a
Yeah.
journey.
And I guess I'm hoping people will actually get that just from talking to you. I think you can't help but be inspired because you think to yourself, it's a journey. People often look at the media, the stuff that's out there. Thandiwe Mlauli, Thandiwe Mlauli. But no one ever actually, I'm being real. No one actually ever goes to the journey and just follows your story. Because I mean, from,
Right.
from from just this interview, you've actually shared that there were days where you knew that no, this is the end. Eviction here, here's the notice. And I'm sure at that point you're thinking to yourself, did I even make the right decision? you know,
Like, why? How did I get
how did I get
here? And
here?
then
It's like, how did I get here? I mean, I've got parents that love me back home. you
you're
know,
like, what am I?
those are the thoughts that
Yo,
would come.
no, for real. And like it's worse when you go to court and you see these lawyers and you're like, oh my God. Like I remember one lawyer was like, why are you so calm? And I'm like, I meditated. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah. so
You
it's
know?
hmm. So I'm
No, it's
hoping
a
people
journey,
take that.
guys.
Yeah, I'm hoping
Yeah.
people really take that from this. And actually, because people have such a short attention span these days. But if you really watch the whole item, I'd say there are jewels here and there that I know people can actually gain. I mean, so that they can actually for their own journeys. So yeah. Any last words, Thandiwe, in terms of just advice for people stopping passengers, uh, in terms of
Yes.
time and
Get into the driver's seat of your own life, honey. Um, Last words, I would say, especially for black and brown people and black and
yeah.
brown children, black and brown teens, if nothing else, bank on your dreams.
Mm, mm,
Invest in yourself and your dreams. And when I say invest in yourself, you may not have the money to invest in yourself, but you have the time.
mm,
If there's a local library to go to get knowledge and information, go.
mm.
If there's a workshop and you like, and sometimes God will test you, like, there'd be things where I'd need to go somewhere and the car's not working
Mm,
and you don't have money for Uber.
mm.
But
And you
you
talk
must
about
tell
good
yourself,
old faithful, that Toyota, that good old faithful
oh,
Toyota.
good old faithful, yes. Because imoto ayisebenzi today.
Mm,
Or I remember like one time a neighbor, she was parking and she smashed my side window
mm.
and she took so long to pay me for it. Like
Yeah,
she took so long.
yeah,
So imagine you driving with this yo, yo, yo,
yeah.
yo. You know what I mean? But like you have those moments where it seems like the world is ending and everything is like what? Like I need to go to this thing right now,
Yeah.
And then God will be like, phone hela uban ban. Hey,
Mm,
sisters,
mm,
and then the girl will bring $10, like, okay, yeah, it says $10, you can get this. You know
mm,
what I mean? Like it's sometimes when you'll find yourself pushed up against the wall
mm.
right at the moment of victory. So don't give up before your miracle is what I'm going to say. I think last words would be you don't know what your miracle is, so don't give up before time.
Mm.
I feel like when it comes to things like death, and God will take care of that. Don't shut yourself before time. Don't take
Yeah.
yourself out of the game
Mm.
before the game is done. There's
Yeah.
always a cheat code. Pray for cheat codes. That's actually a thing, guys.
Yeah, pay for cheat code. That's a new one. Yeah, pay for cheat code. Yeah,
Pray for cheat codes because the cheat codes exist, but you won't know them until you ask God for them.
yeah.
Because these things that like meeting the character designer at Starbucks was a cheat code.
Mm,
Going to Black Women Animates was a cheat code.
mm,
Meeting somebody randomly and introducing myself, that was a cheat code.
Yeah.
And the cheat codes will come in the form of your intuition,
Mm.
which I think is a major thing to trust. You know, I it's very magical for me. This journey for me is very, very magical. It's ups and downs, but it's very magical. So I think find the joy in your journey, pray for cheat codes, invest in your dreams,
Mm.
and push beyond those obstacles. Like sometimes those obstacles, ngizokunyisa,
Mm.
ngizokunyisa. Like you must tell the obstacle ukuthi ngeke ngihlule into engakhulumi, ngeke ngihlule. No ways. No ways. You know? So yeah,
It's not
push,
like you're
guys.
psyching yourself up, like it's taking you back to a time.
I'm telling you, because it's like I'm remembering the fire that I needed to get here.
Yeah.
It took a lot of fire to get here, guys. I don't want like you're saying, you're seeing the press and all of the good things that the people are saying and all of the excitement.
Mm.
It took hell and high water to get here,
Mm.
but I'm here and I'm alive and I'm a testament to that. So I think everybody has access to things. They may not look exactly like me,
Mm.
but there's your path. There are things available to you on your path, but you must be focused on your path to see it.
Awesome. And on that note, thank you very much, Thandiwe, for giving us your time this evening.
Thank you so
Um,
much for having me.
a lot was learned. I mean, hopefully people will just pull up their socks and get moving. Because for me,
You
if
know,
I could sum up this show, this episode, I would say just hit the ground rolling. Hit the
telling
ground
you,
rolling.
just go for it.
Just
Just
go for it. Go for it. Go for
tunnel
it.
vision.
Tunnel vision, and don't stop until you get to that past that finish line. So yeah. So
100%.
for me, that's really been the big takeaway, and I'm hoping, as I always say, that there'll be many more interviews in the future, as we
Just
see Studio Yezi grow, as you branch off to other ventures, and yeah, and like I say, I know corporates, it's only a matter of time before they start asking what's happening. Can we commercials? Let's get animated commercials, and let's do
right.
some big things. So yeah, so just wishing you all the best, Thandiwe, on your journey.
Thank
And
you
yeah,
so
man,
much.
thank you very much for this interview. And guys, so this was a great interview. See you next time, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Ping.
Ping. And do not forget the notification bell on that note.